order. Delaware Tribal Council meeting to order, and ask Curtis Zuniga to lead us in a moment of prayer.
Dearest Heavenly Father, I want to say that I am truly thankful that we are all gathered here on this evening. Give us a blessing, our Heavenly Father. Look down upon us as we gather for the business of the Delaware tribe. I'm praying that you look down upon our leaders as they assemble this evening and guide and direct them. Grant them wisdom and patience, understanding, compassion, that the words that they say and the deeds that they perform will be in the best interest of our people. We're ever so grateful for their leadership and for all of those that work so hard to make our tribe great. We ask you to look down on us and bless everyone, from the oldest elder all the way down to the little tiny baby being held in its mama's arms. I'm asking you to bless them. And as we leave this meeting this evening, I pray that you take us to our home safely, and that way we may return for another day of serving our people. And God bless the Delaware tribe. Please see. I'm praying to you humbly tonight, dearest God, in your most precious and heavenly name. On Lake Edge. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Curtis, and let the record reflect that the meeting was called to order at 5:30 Roll call.
Chief Joe Brooks.
Here.
Assistant Chief Bonnie Jo Griffith.
Here.
Secretary Nikki Michael. I'm here. Treasurer Benita Shea. Here. Member Annette Kitchum.
Here.
Member Nathan Young.
Here.
Member Michelle Hawley.
Here.
Member Quorum.
I'd like to welcome all of our guests and ask our council for a motion to approve the agenda.
Also moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The minutes of our November, I believe it was 17th, correct, meeting. Do I hear any additions or corrections to the minutes of the November 17th meeting?
Maybe we ought to take the word S off of red. instead of reads a letter, I would say maybe read a letter.
Pass.
I have one question about the minutes and the attendance record. It does not have Secretary Dr. Nikki Michael as present, but I think you were.
I was here.
I looked at that and I thought you were.
Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve with corrections.
Motion been made to approve
I'll second it.
and seconded to approve the November 17th meetings as corrected. Minutes, I mean. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, that's, is there any abstentions? That's 6 yes and 1 no.
Now, we're talking about the November 17th, not the December.
We did the December 1st ones.
I think that, I didn't check the, what do you call it, the code, the Robert's rules, but were they passed, or at the last meeting when it wasn't a regularly scheduled meeting? They were minutes of this council, and they were passed last week at the special meeting, the minutes of the December 1st. I think we should bring them back to the table and approve of this. I don't know, Secretary, do you know what the Robert's rules say about that?
Robert's rules say that it should be done at a regular meeting.
At a regular meeting, that's what I thought. And but they were done out of sequence, they were done at a special meeting instead of this one. It's just a technicality, it's not a,
Yeah, I don't care.
I make a motion that we approve the December 1st minutes, or reapprove, or whatever the verbiage should be for, at this meeting, the December 1 tribal council, regularly scheduled tribal council meeting minutes.
Does any council member need a copy of the minutes to act on this motion?
I do.
Dana, could you, does anybody other than Nikki need a copy? Dana, could you get us one copy of the minutes we approved? This will take just a moment.
Who did the December 1 meeting?
Dana.
Thank you. Um, Chief, are we saying that the Robert's Rules of Order doesn't apply unless we adopt some portion of it?
I get, well, Secretary Michael said that the proper way to approve minutes would be to approve the minutes at a special meeting at the next regular meeting.
No.
That's not what was said,
No,
no.
the regularly scheduled minutes of the meeting on December 1 should be done at the next regularly scheduled meeting of the tribal council, not at a special meeting.
And it was Councilwoman Ketchum that stated that, not Secretary Michael.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it was.
Stand correct.
It's just like housekeeping possibly.
Do I hear any additions or corrections to these minutes? If not, can I hear a motion to approve?
Do we need to vote on, we already voted on
Well, I made a motion that we approve them, so I don't know whether we're just reading the old motion into this or whether we make a new one. What's proper, that proper?
I'll second the motion to approve December 1
The
meeting minutes.
motion's been made and seconded to approve the December 1 minutes as written. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I'll let the record show that the vote is 6 yes, 1 no. Financial reports are attached. Anita Shea, would you care to address the financials?
I would just like to state, I'd like to make a motion to pass the financials pending audit.
I'd second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded to,
I have one question, Chief. I noticed on this, that these are from the November, the financials of the November meeting, the month of November. But on these these financial report finals, the first 2 pages of the financials, the back of the first page and the third page, they're September the 30th. They're dated September 30th instead of November 30th. And I wondered why, and if that's just, if the whole thing is September or just the date's wrong. That's my question. Jean, do you see that?
Not yet, I'm looking.
Okay.
Oh, the date is wrong.
It's just the date. This is definitely November. Okay.
So that'll just be for
Yeah, it's just not a,
So I will amend my motion to approve the financials with the financial report date changed from September 30th, 2015 to November 2015 pending audit.
do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Let the record show that the financial approval of the financial spending audit is 6 yes, 1 no. We've got several tribal reports attached. Does the tribal manager wish to make any comments on these reports?
Chief Brooks, Assistant Chief Griffith, councilperson. I just want to simply mention to you that the reports provided by our departments hopefully will suffice as we go into the holidays. The only upcoming news that I would like to mention to you is that my regularly scheduled department head meeting that I have the day following our tribal council has been postponed and rescheduled for January the 6th, as we are having the Washington County Sheriff's Department come in and provide an active shooter program for us. That'll be on January the 6th.
So he's preempting the January 6th one meeting. Staff meeting, not tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the active shooter.
The active shooters is tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I
No, we'll be on January the
Right,
6th.
that's
We will
right.
have our department head meeting tomorrow. And we'll have our department head meeting on January the 6th.
Okay, because tomorrow the shooter class is.
No,
No, it's not.
There's
January
nothing
the
tomorrow.
6th.
Is there nothing tomorrow?
No, we won't have a department head meeting tomorrow.
Okay,
Or an
that's two
active
different
shooter,
things.
if there's nothing.
They're not
No,
related.
January the 6th.
Okay.
We've got several department managers here. Is there any department manager here that would like to comment on their report? I believe that Curtis Zuniga wanted to make a comment about an attachment to these tribal council minutes or package. Could you come?
Yes, Chief, and it is on a line item on your agenda. If I could cover everything in just one brief comment to the council?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Is that 3B? Is that 3B, item 3?
Right, having to do with the Kansas,
Okay, yeah.
state of Kansas,
Yeah, no,
okay.
we did.
Yes, I did submit my report, and, you know, we're pleased to say that we are moving forward with our program, working with the tribal court. We are, the court is issuing orders for child support. We are collecting money, and we are dispersing it to the custodial party. So we are moving along with that, but part of a more aggressive campaign to get more cases in our program is very important that we have these memorandum of agreement with state of Kansas, state of Oklahoma, and the Cherokee Nation. In each case, the attorneys for these three governmental entities are preparing and submitting draft language. I am sharing that with, of course, our consultants who are both seasoned attorneys in the child welfare environment, and we're going through all of the technical elements. And I am still awaiting a version that is what I believe is ready to present to the tribal council for your consideration, so that you can do your negotiation and have it signed off by either the well, in the case of Cherokee Nation, it would come from Chief Brooks and Chief Baker. In the case of the states, it would be the secretary for the department within the state government. Now, on your agenda is the one having to do with state of Kansas. We had one prepared according to the attorney that wrote it up for the Kansas Office of Child Support Enforcement. Everything was good on their end. We reviewed it on our end. It looked good. I sent a copy to you and asked you to look it over so that you could then begin the process of working with the Office of the Secretary of Children and Families at the state of Kansas. Then, after I sent it to you, I got a phone call on just last Friday. Well, the attorney that prepared that was his last day.
Oh, no.
And a new attorney took over as the deputy to the Child Support Enforcement Office. And with all due respect to Mr. Young, attorneys have a way of wanting to put their own language in some of these documents. And she said, I need to review it and do a little wordsmithing. She said, it's not going to be anything major. We're not going to change the intent, but there's a few things in there I wanted to look over and perhaps change before we give you a version that we're comfortable, and then respectively, then we'll run it up the flagpole to you all. And so the version that you got, for the most part, pretty well tells what we want to do, which is work together in a cooperative fashion and to be able to have cases transferred over to us from courts in the state of Kansas, or we can enforce cases that are in their state courts. So while we're waiting on that, I will again kind of vet all of the legal information in there, and then when I have a copy that I believe is worthy of your consideration, I'll give it to you. But please know, I'm not trying to negotiate something at the final level. I'm just kind of getting it ready to prepare to you, and know that it's something that I could put my recommendation on for the council to pass and approve, and that we'll have a resolution prepared at that time. Now, I also hope then, because we were on the phone with the attorney for the state of Oklahoma just 10 days ago, trying to get the final language worked out there. We're very close. And then the one with the Cherokee Nation is being prepared by the Attorney General's office. And again, Mr. John Young is in that office, so I do believe he will be definitely looking out for the best interests of both tribes in the preparation of any final language. But this will give us the opportunity to have cases transferred over from the Cherokee Nation to the Delaware tribe, and they have stated that they have some that they want to give to us, including clients that are members of the Delaware tribe. So we're getting close. As soon as we get something from Cherokee Nation, as soon as we get something from Kansas and Oklahoma that I'm ready to present to you all, I'll do that, give you plenty of time to review, do all of whatever reviews and discussions you want to have at your levels, and hopefully, I'd like to have a resolution on your table, say a month from now, for you to approve. We get those signed, and then that'll move things a lot quicker, where we can start getting more cases from these other governmental entities. So that's where we are, Chief.
Thank you, Curtis.
Good job. All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Right.
Very good job.
Are there any other tribal departments whose manager wishes to make a report? If not, let's address the code of ethics that was tabled November the 17th. The reason it was tabled was for the trust board and tribal judges to be able to take a look at it and make any recommendations. the trust board has been handed out copies of the code of ethics, but they have not met yet. We are meeting tomorrow at 4 p.m. Yes, Joe Brooks.
Chief Brooks, with all due respect, you mentioned that to the trust board at the last meeting, but we did not get copies of the code of ethics. They were not in the packet.
Wow, I was, are you the only, Roger Stewart's here.
You didn't get a copy?
Did you get a copy of it, Roger? Yes,
Did we get a copy of that for the judges?
sure.
Maybe Dana sent all the,
So Charles, the judges have not had a chance to review this document either?
so I just think we leave it table.
Leave and take.
That's, would be proper thing to do. No council member wishes to bring it off the table until it's been reviewed by tribal judges and trust.
Question.
Nancy's got one.
Nancy?
On the meeting that you're gonna have tomorrow at 4 o'clock, can anybody just come in and listen to what you guys are discussing about the code of ethics? Or is it like a closed meeting?
All trust board meetings are
It's the
open
regular trust
meetings.
board meeting. The regular one.
So it's open to the public?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
and then Monterey's.
The next item on the agenda is the Generation Indigenous Native Leaders Youth Challenge.
Yes. We spoke about this last month in November. I had brought this initiative to the table, and at that point in time, I had challenged the Native leaders of the Tribal Council to take the challenge. The details are basically each tribe that signs up to take the challenge will then be required to make an act of outreach to area Native American youth within 30 days of taking that challenge. After speaking with Tribal Council, I have signed us up on that website under the Generation Indigenous Native Leaders Challenge, and we have taken that challenge now, and within 30 days we are required to fulfill the requirement of outreach. With the support of the Tribal Council, we are, Lenape-OC is holding their annual children's Christmas party, at which we will be discussing youth outreach and how our youth in attendance can commit and work to further education of their Native involvement in our community. So that will fulfill our requirement for that challenge. I would also like to ask this council if for approval to be the point of contact for, as we move forward with this initiative, as it is an ongoing initiative through the White House, that I be established as the point of contact in maintaining our role and responsibilities in this challenge.
Would any council member wish to make a motion to that degree?
I'll make that motion that Michelle be the contact for that. I'm not sure what all the wording will be.
Do I hear a
What she
second?
just said.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded that Michelle be the point of contact concerning Generation Indigenous Native Leaders Youth Council. Nancy?
I don't quite understand what this is entailing, but I noticed that since we are supporting the child's care place over there in Chelsea, could somebody go over there and see if we can get how many kids they got coming in there, see if they would be interested and stuff like that, because we don't include them basically in anything.
Is that the Boys and Girls Club you're
Yeah.
referring to? Actually, I've already, I have reached out to them and they are aware of this challenge. And as we move basically past today's meeting with this technicality, I will then start my outreach of the leaders of the youth facilities to start establishing a plan.
Good. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Call for question.
Question's been called. All in favor of Michelle Holly being appointed the point of contact, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Let the record show that the vote was 6 yes and Michelle Holly abstained. Under unfinished business,
I have one question, Chief. I noticed that the roof over on the new child care building is composition instead of metal. And I wasn't aware of it until I saw it was on there. And I wondered if, could somebody talk about that as to why they didn't go with the metal roof, or what was who made the decision, or give me some history on it, or reasons or anything? Does anybody know? Did anybody notice it?
I hadn't even noticed it in there.
Oh, okay. Well, nobody knows.
No, I'll call Sherry tomorrow if you want to.
Well, I can call, I can find out. I mean, it's just, I thought maybe it might have been noticed. It just doesn't follow the campus. Of course, we're
Right.
getting all kinds of colors anyway out there, so anyway.
Okay,
doesn't
you'll
match.
call her then.
I'll call her and find out.
I am going to make a motion under unfinished business, a two-part motion, that our secretary be relieved of her duties in regard to being the secretary and being the media point person.
Would that fall under unfinished business? Is this new business?
We talked about it at our special meeting.
Actually, we did not. We spoke about it illegally during an executive session, which we did not come out here during the regular meeting and share with our members.
Do I hear a second?
I give a
To the
second.
motion.
Second.
Should that be two motions? I mean, that was two things. It was relieve the secretary and to,
And electing you secretary.
I know, but shouldn't that be two motions?
It can be.
I think it should be two motions, number one, and number two, that social media is a separate motion too in there. I think that we're putting too many things in one little.
Well, we already have a resolution on social media that we passed.
Oh, okay, so that's not in there.
Nancy?
I've got an opinion.
Have I have heard a second to this motion. Nancy?
Did you ask for discussion before you made it, before you called it? My question is, this has been coming on for some time from what I have seen about taking more and more of her stuff away from her as secretary. You're the one that appointed her as secretary, and all of a sudden now, you're the one that's gonna take all this crap away from her? I don't understand why all of a sudden she can't be, this media stuff. First of all, you took that away from her. The DIN thing, you took that away from her. Now you're taking away her secretarial job, duties and appointing them to Annette. I don't understand, we elected you guys to take care of us. And if you're up there infighting or whatever the heck it is, you're not helping us as a tribe. You're getting to be a clique. I don't like that. I don't like when you appoint somebody to be something, leave them alone and let them do their job. Quit trying to do the job for them and putting them over here, putting them over here. It isn't even right. And I think that if you pass that motion, something wrong with all you guys up there.
Nancy, you touched on the exact reason that I made such motion in open, regular council meeting. Because I wanted to hear what other people had to say.
John, can you go print that for me, please?
I'm not going to
Print what?
I was wanting to carry this conversation on with you because I wasn't through with my other question, which pertained to the way the council has been running, and I say all of you are getting to be too petty. I don't like being petty. You guys, when we elected you, we put our pride and our faith in you as a council to help us grow. And I'm seeing and hearing all this other stuff that's going on, which means, well, so-and-so did this and they agree here, but this one over here, they don't like it. I understand you're gonna have differences of opinion. That's what that council's there for, to put them all out there. I don't see when you take stuff away from people once you give it to them, I don't see it. In other words, I can't see it. And yes, I'm picky. Yes, I voted for you and you and you, and even him. But I'll tell you what, the pettiness don't stop. I'm gonna file a grievance against all of y'all. I'm gonna file a petition to get a recall on the Danville stuff up there. I'm tired of it. I see it, I'm tired of it.
Well, Nancy, you know, I don't want to argue with
I'm
you.
not arguing.
You're
I'm just saying, I
entitled
thought
to
I
your
had an opinion.
opinion, but I will point out to you that the Constitution of the
That
Delaware
don't follow.
tribe gives this tribal council the power to elect whichever one of their members that a majority wants to serve a certain duty.
True. The Constitution does say that. You gave her a job. Why are you taking it away from her? That's what I want to know. I mean, yeah, she's up there and wherever, but she's doing her job. She was doing her job with the DIN, and all of a sudden, this goes here. She was doing a good job as secretary, writing down and also getting from the deal. Now you're saying it takes too much paper for her to be doing from the film, or whatever that thing is. Anyhow, I can't understand it. I can't wrap my head around it, in other words. Why you would appoint somebody to do something and then you take it back and give it to somebody else because of whatever reason.
Well, Nancy, the simple answer to that is that's within our political power to do that.
Power.
Yes, power.
Yeah. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is exactly what the problem is.
I'm through.
So Chet, you're saying that Nikki has too much power? Is that?
I don't know what it sounds like.
No, I'm not saying anything other than pointing out to Nancy the constitutionality of what my motion entails.
So are you saying that the tribal council has too much power or the secretary has too much power? I mean, Nancy's trying to understand this, so we're gonna dial
Well,
into it,
no,
right?
You dissect it for me, yes.
I think Nancy is trying to say that the tribal council has too much power. But
I'm saying the power has to go with the council. I understand that. I don't understand being cliquish, fighting amongst yourselves in behind the doors in executive meetings, I imagine, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, you guys are up there to work together, not to be pointing fingers, not to be taking jobs away from somebody that you done gave them to. That's what I'm saying. Yes, the council has the powers, and yes, they have the Constitution back them, and I don't even believe in that anymore, because you guys have changed it so damn much. Excuse my language, I'm sorry.
well, Nancy, there's no reason to excuse your language because I agree with you in one sense. This is a question about power.
And cliques.
I happen to disagree with you about
Well, that's okay.
whose power we're talking about.
Well, it ain't mine, it ain't yours, it's the council's, what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we'll stop it for right now, but I'm still trying to get my head around it. It's kind of like when you go on and you're working on a job, and you're told that, like me, I'm a welder. You go weld on this job right here, and you get halfway done, and then, oh, no, get off there and go over here to this one here. We need this over here. Well, I can understand that, because they mind you just part out faster. But if I'm over here doing my job on this one piece, don't come messing with me till I finish it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm through. No more rants for a while.
So what are the reasons? What are the reasons?
What are the reasons? Well, the reasons are that it might be a lot easier on Nikki to not have those duties in Wyoming is part of the reason. The rest of it's purely political.
As a council member, I would like to hear the justifiable reason from this council that this motion is coming. It is not because it is to make Nikki's life easier.
Well, I guess since I made the motion, you're asking me that?
I'm asking this council.
Okay. Does any council member wish to respond?
So my response would be, it is a confidential manner. It is not one that I would share with my tribal members. I do not want to put anybody in a bad light. And just like their executive session is strictly for that, it is confidential. And myself, I will not talk poorly about one of my council members here or on Facebook or anywhere else. So I will be completely quiet about it. I don't feel I need to give a reason because I do not want to discredit anyone up here.
Levi?
Yeah, you guys, Chief, you sat up there and you wanted to ask the crowd's opinions on what they thought of this. Well, this is my opinion. Some of the things I see going on in this council is the same thing I've seen on the prior administrations, and the administration before that, and the administration before that. Some of the administrations and councils that each one of you have previously sat on. I've been around here for a while enough to see the way things go around this Delaware tribe. And that aspect of it never makes me happy. The fact that some of you guys have these cliques that get together that are very apparent and very obvious, and then when someone wants to do something or interject or have their own opinion on something, you guys turn your backs on them. I've seen the split in the council since day one. I've seen how it's this group against that group. And you know what? You're right. We did put you in those positions. We elected you to give you that duty. But you guys have a duty to us as the people to do right by us. You guys are all grown adults. You guys should be able to get along and work together for the benefit of the tribal members here, sitting out here now. And you're not right now. You guys, I don't know what's going on with you. If something was done in the past that you didn't agree that Nikki had done, let it be in the past. Go forward. You guys have an obligation to work together. You guys are pretty much stuck. That's the way I see it. You guys were put in these positions on good faith. I voted for you guys. Okay? I went around and talked to people on your behalf. You know, I believed in you guys, and I still do. You guys have the power to not do this. I ask that you stop this immediately. Get together, act like adults, act like council people, chiefs and vice chiefs, and come together and come to workable solutions, work something out.
Levi, do you know that we had a strategic planning meeting that we had planned for weeks, months? We had that right after general council, general session. Do you know who was there on time and ready to go? And who was late? And who opted not to even show up?
These things happen.
Okay. You know, what my fear is that because of social media, our tribal members are hearing one side of the story and they're not getting the whole story. So for you to sit there and judge the rest of us, be careful, because you don't see everything that's happening.
You'll be surprised what I see and what I know. That's all I'll tell you. I know a little bit more than what I let on.
You, Joe Brooks.
Chief and council, the only thing I want to say is welcome to tribal politics.
That's what I
This
said.
tribe, for as long as I can remember, has not had a council that all agreed on one thing. There's some very people in this room that was tribal judges when I was a chief that removed me from office for unconstitutional reasons. Says the only reason you can be removed is for a felony crime or a crime which involved dishonesty. Where were you people at when I got removed? I didn't hear nobody hollering it was illegal then.
Well, I'd like to holler that the judges did not do that.
The judges did do
No, the
that.
judges did.
3 out of
did
4
that.
judges
The
did
judges
that.
did not do that, did they?
3 out
No,
of
it's
4 judges
petition.
did that.
Petition written by a tribal council, a tribal member, Joe, that wrote the petition.
But the judges ruled on it.
Oh, they did?
We
Call
did
for
not.
question.
It never went to
I'm not ready to call for question. I'm sorry.
But
I'm still
anyhow,
waiting.
all I'm saying is welcome to tribal politics, and I respect this tribal council for trying to go by the Constitution, because no previous administrations in a long time has even tried to go by the Constitution. And this tribal council most certainly has a right to appoint officers. You have an election every 2 years, you may want all new officers then. You've got the right to change officers anytime you so please by the Constitution. If tribal members don't like the Constitution, they are to work on getting a new Constitution. But what difference does it make what Constitution you get? Because I haven't seen any tribal council besides this one in a lot of years that's tried to go by any Constitution.
That is, oh, really
Fight,
over the
fight,
top.
fight.
That's over the top, Joe.
Fight, fight, fight. That's all
Oh, I
I've
agree
seen
with that.
for 50 years in this tribe, and I've been around longer than probably any of you here. So, That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
I just want to say, I think it's a mistake to not say your reasons why. And I understand, and I heard you when you said you don't want to discredit anyone or bring anything out that may be negative. Maybe discuss that with Nikki then to see if she wants it revealed. But I think it's a mistake if you're going to make a decision like that, to take someone's duties away that they were elected for and not tell members, because all that's going to start is rumors. There's already distrust. I mean, there's natural distrust of anything, of any type of government body, including our own. So I think that you should reconsider, and I think it's a mistake not to state reasons why, because otherwise it's just going to cause too much discord, and you're not going to have anyone supportive, because there's going to be too much to question. There's too many questions that are just not answered.
That's actually the reason it was introduced in open council meeting.
Chair, could I talk a minute? I wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, Joe Brooks is absolutely right. This is always the way it is. About a year into your administration, the wheels come off the bus. And sometimes the people react, some of them don't. If it's a chief that they don't know too well, they don't say as much. We don't have our federal recognition, they don't say as much. But I want to ask Nikki. Nikki, do you want to be the secretary of this tribal council?
Well, when I was elected, thank you for asking me. When I was elected, I actually was reluctant to accept the position. That was not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to serve the people. But as I got into it, I looked at the Constitution and I kept saying, okay, I'm charged with, all tribal correspondence. And so all I feel like I've been doing is trying to uphold the Constitution. And in that manner, I feel good about that. Even if there's adversity, when things get hard, doesn't mean you stop. And, for me, every time I've ever done anything, whether it's Ironmans or a PhD or having children, if I would have stopped doing what I believed in because I fell and scraped my knee, or because people told me I couldn't, or that I was doing it wrong, I never would have gotten to where I was at. So in that respect, I love our people, and I feel like I'm serving them doing this.
Well, if somebody told you were doing something wrong, would you relinquish and take advice, or would you just plow on, or how would you handle that a situation like that?
I have to deal with that all the time. Absolutely.
Right. Let's talk to the people want to hear.
Yeah. When do you go? I mean, that's the question I wanted to know. If there's something wrong with the minutes, let me know. If you don't like all the quotes in there, we can take those quotes out. But this is my dissertation. You've read it, Annette. No. This is my dissertation. I have went through every single set of minutes that we've ever had. And so I've looked at those minutes and I take what I understand that people want to hear in the minutes, especially when we have people that are not here often. They want to hear from our tribal members. The tribal members want to have a voice. So I believe, even if I don't agree with them, I always try to say what they're saying. And in some cases I can't, as the secretary, especially when a meeting is about me, then I have to be careful about inserting my own opinion. That's what Robert's rules say. So I don't insert my own opinion at that, where I don't editorialize. Those are, I think, where we're having some issues with those particular sets of minutes. But other than that, I've heard nothing about the minutes. Those particular sets were the only times that I've heard anything. So if we want to modify them, shorten them up, this last set of minutes was 5 pages. All I did was take out the spaces. So I'm open.
Are you also open to being less obviously I've never been on Facebook, so I don't know what it says, but I've had many, many people report that was the offensive thing, is that the things you said on Facebook, it didn't gore everybody, but it gored some people. And so the people that were gored didn't like it, and the people that weren't gored don't understand. But, and I didn't, maybe I shouldn't even speak to it since I'm not on Facebook and don't know what was said. But are you willing to, in a professional manner, to maybe keep, even since you keep your personal opinions to yourself in the minutes, would you be willing to do that on the Facebook? I'm not asking for censorship. I'm asking for the thing about the very thing that maybe Benita is talking about, in deference to other people's feelings, possibly. I don't know how to say that, and maybe maybe your calling is journalism. Maybe it's not history. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is politics. I don't know, and I'm not saying that to. I don't want anybody to say I tried to censor her. You hear? I'm not trying to censor her.
I think you're the least one.
Do you see what thought?
Yeah, you're the least one that's trying to censor me, I feel. No, I don't believe that, I believe that in asking me that, it is infringing on my First Amendment rights.
Well, I had a person tell me once that the person wrote what he wanted to say on the Facebook. The next day he took it off because after he read it in the light of day, it didn't sound so good what he said the night before. So, and that's all I'm saying. It's not censorship. It's good politics, maybe. That's all I'm saying. And I know y'all have some opinions on that.
Titus French.
Politics.
Pull them out the edge. I just have a few things to say, and I'm not going to criticize or anything of that sort. But I'd just like to point out, I was a tribal manager back in 1999, 98. I've been associated with councils since that time. And throughout history, I've seen how councils operate. I see how they function, how sometimes you get, people get together and they oppose the Constitution because it restricts their movement or restricts their behavior in certain ways. And accommodation sometimes takes place just because of that. It's a matter of moving things forward in that thinking. Now, we have a person here, and she's a graduate. She has a PhD in Delaware history. We have never had that on a council before. In fact, there's not a single person here that has a higher level of education than she. Why do you want to remove her? You should be promoting our tribal people instead of putting them down. I noticed the person that you, Chief, that made the motion and seconded by Cousin Pete.
Mr. Young.
Yes. One is a felon, a convicted felon. The other has been disbarred by the state of Oklahoma. Now, we have a PhD member here you two want to get rid of. Why? Why can you not work with her? There's no reason. There has to be continuity. There has to be a way forward. When you can pull somebody of her caliber in here, work with her. You don't start backbiting, chewing on ankles. No, that's not adult. That's childish. But I encourage you to move on. You have the wherewithal right now among this group to move this tribe forward. I see it. You have a lot of potential, but you have to take advantage of it, not try and cut it off. Those are the only thing I can just say to you right now. Your decision, yes, is based on the Constitution. The Constitution gives the council the right to do what they deem necessary. But should they? The Constitution gave the right for a purchase of $1.2 million in Kansas, but should we? Or should we have done that? There are issues of that nature. Search among yourself in your own way What is it that you're trying to strive for? Is it going to be a betterment to remove somebody of this caliber? Do you think you're better than that? That's something I question. I just don't understand that. But thank you.
Titus, I can only say one thing to that. We are in no way making a motion. I have made no motion to remove Nikki Michael from her elected tribal council seat.
True. You did talk about.
I have made a motion that this tribal council has the power and possibly the political will to vote on.
And you should. Your decision. And you'll live by it.
Do I hear any further discussion?
Call for question.
The question been called a second time. Do I hear a second to the question being called?
I second the question being called.
Then all in favor of relieving Councilmember Nikki Michael of her secretarial duties. That's his secretary job, not her council seat. Please say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. One, two, three, four. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 4 yes, 3 opposed. Do I hear any abstentions?
I chose to vote no because I think that well, I don't have to explain it. That's right. I don't.
Let the record show the vote is 4 yes, 3 no, and no abstentions. Does any council member want to make a motion for somebody to accept the secretarial duties?
I'll make a motion that Annette Ketchum assume those duties, if you'll accept, Annette.
I'll accept.
And I will second that motion.
Discussion. If there's no discussion, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Raise your right hand.
Aye.
1,
That's
2,
your left, Annette.
3, 4. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
That's 4 yes, 2 opposed, and I'm going to abstain on that motion. Annette, would you please read the title Now therefore be it resolved.
Can't hear
Can't hear you.
The resolutions.
Enrollment resolution.
Yes, I will.
2015-64.
Resolution 2015-64, a resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians to approve tribal membership. And it's therefore, let it be resolved that the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians here does hereby authorize and approve the persons whose names correspond with the numbers listed above as Delaware tribal members. Numbers 058606 to 058615. Not 15, that would be nine new Delawares have been approved.
Do I hear a motion to approve this resolution?
I make the motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor of approval of resolution 2015-64, please say aye.
Aye.
Ned, could you read the title and now therefore be it resolved?
Yes, sir. It's Resolution 2015-65, a resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians to change the designation of the listed houses from mutual help housing to rental units. And the Delaware Tribe, whereas the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians adopts this resolution to authorize the change in the designation of the listed houses from their original purpose of mutual help housing to rental units to better serve the current needs of the housing participants. And whereas the following houses will be designated as rental units: 101 2nd 9th Street, Chelsea; number 3 Delaware Avenue, Chelsea; 1303 West Clyde Avenue, Veneta, Oklahoma; and 402 South Oklahoma Avenue, Claremore, Oklahoma. Therefore, therefore be it resolved, the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians does hereby authorize and approve the designation of these listed houses from mutual help units to low rental units to better serve the current needs of our housing participants.
Nancy's got her hand up.
Nancy?
I'll wrap my head around this again. Where it says, mutual help units to low rental units, isn't that basically what that is to begin with?
No, it's mutual help is purchase.
Okay, so in other words, people that are buying these houses are, that are already buying the houses, do we have any that they're paying on?
Not of these.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, so.
I spoke to Ron yesterday because I think Crystal Thaxton had asked on Facebook about it, and I didn't know either, but I sought out Ron, and he said, and maybe he or Walter One can address this better, Chief, if you'd allow them to come up and speak on this resolution.
Yeah, because
it'll be
I got about 3 questions.
going from Ron to me to you, and
Yeah.
you just will hear it from him or Walter.
Ron, could you and Walter address this resolution?
Thank you, Chief.
You gotta be pretty close to that mic, Walter.
Okay, the question was, let me get down to my question here. Okay, no rental units to better serve the current needs of the housing participants. Does this mean that when you change it to low rental, that they can't buy the house anymore? You're just gonna use it as a rental unit?
Yes.
What about the tribal members that would rather buy their units?
Today on our waiting list, we've got a greater number of people that needs rentals in that county.
Over in the Chelsea area?
Yes.
That's strange. Everybody I've talked to didn't want to live there.
That's why they're sitting empty.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, but, okay.
currently all 4 of these units are empty.
Right now?
Yes,
Okay.
and we're trying to, get someone in there.
Okay. That's all I learned, because I thought maybe you guys were just stopping, buying the houses.
No, we have
You have that,
future
so you
plans
still
of
got,
acquisition,
Okay,
especially around, Washington County.
okay. All right, that was my question.
These units are empty right now, is what you're saying, and they have been for some time, and the demand is for the low rental units. So the best use of the homes is to make them into low rental units, is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Number 3, Delaware Acres is, it's been empty since January of 2010. So,
In order to get somebody in there.
yes, yes.
How soon will they be ready to rent?
It depends on the IHP when we get it in for 16. The first 402 Oklahoma will take me about 3 weeks to get it in rental. 1303 West Clyde will take me about 8 weeks to flip. And 101 Second Line is ready, and it's been ready since, let me see. It's been ready since August of 14. So we need to switch them over and get someone in there. They're all 3-bedroom homes, and that's where our biggest need is.
Walter, are these rentals, are they mobiles, are they actual houses? What
They're
kind of-
actual houses.
Actual houses?
Yes.
Okay.
The only mobiles we have were the FEMA trailer
Yeah, and
project.
do we still have those, or have those already been cycled out?
They're still making payments on them. We give them the trailer, and then they opted for us to put the septic tank in, the sewer, the water, and we asked for a $200 a month payback with no interest, until they're paid off.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Chief.
Once we do this, is there any option to convert those to a purchase?
Charles, we can't hear you.
Once this is passed, is there any option to convert these back to a purchase if that demand becomes available?
Yes, there is. A lot of our houses have been in mutual help, they've been moved to home ownership, they've been moved to rental, they've been moved back to home ownership. So this is an option that's always open.
Dodge. This isn't pertaining directly to that, but since you're housing, I have a question. What exactly does a homeowner have to give up in order to get a new roof on the house?
Your next born.
First board, second board?
Your next born. You're out of luck.
I got 3 on the way, so hurry up.
Now, we currently have a program for elders, and we allow up to, what, 7,000?
Yes.
For renovations on their house.
I turn 69 tomorrow.
You qualify.
You qualify.
Good.
fill out the paperwork.
Yes.
We'll come in.
I don't have to pay that back?
No,
I don't have to come and work
No.
and do floors?
no,
Okay.
So just go see them.
it's a new program that we've implemented this year.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
And also too, our 2016 funds have just now been granted to us. And we're also carrying over that elderly rehab program with our 2016 money as well. So we'll be ready to, you know,
Do you have new applications for
With
that?
an
or do you have-
application.
Okay, I have a packet now, that I picked up 2 or 3 months ago. So I need to come get a new one?
No.
Oh, same
Just
one?
turn it in.
Okay. And how long will that take approximately? 2 years?
Well, no, not 2 years.
Year and a half?
Well, no, we'll have to do the environmentals on each individual house.
Full of asbestos. It is.
The old house.
It's built in the 50s. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is that all, Steve?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
All in favor of passing this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Who made the motions on that?
I don't think we
I
can.
don't think we made the motion.
I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion that we approve, what was that, 2015-65?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you.
And again, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstentions? Let the record show it passes unanimously. Annette, could you please read the title? And therefore be it resolved, a resolution.
This is Resolution 2015-66, a resolution of the Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians to comply with Department of Interior best practices to use Section 106 fees in support of historic and cultural preservation. Let's see, I possibly should read a couple of the whereases. The middle of the page, whereas the regulations also, let's see, I'll start with the regulations, the one where it says, whereas the regulations ensure that historic properties of religious, cultural, and cultural significance to an Indian tribe may be located on ancestral, aboriginal, or ceded lands of that tribe, and agencies must make a reasonable and good faith effort to identify Indian tribes that attach such significance but may now live at great distances from the undertaking area of potential effect. And whereas the regulations also provide for an Indian tribe to enter into an agreement with a federal agency regarding any aspect of tribal participation in the review process. The agreement may provide the Indian tribe an additional participation or concurrence in agency decisions under Section 106, provided that no modification is made to the roles of other parties without their consent. And whereas the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians authorizes and approves the Delaware Tribal Section 106 consultation program to support the historic and cultural preservation of the Delaware Tribe. Therefore, be it resolved, due to the Department of Interior studies which support best practices, proclaiming that fees collected through Section 106, Protection of Historic Properties, 36 CFR Part 800, should only be collected to support their historic cultural preservation programs. All Delaware Tribe fees will be returned to the program based on the following percentages. 40% will not be language and culture program, 20% archives and documentation, 10% museum and library, 20% THPO salaries, salaries, and 10% indirect cost.
Discussion.
Should we make a motion first?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Who seconded it? Michelle.
Discussion. Nobody had any discussion?
Well, one of the things I wanted to say, right now, it's the way it is that the money is 100%, it's a business for our tribe, and the money is 100% discretional use. Is that right? That's correct, right? And that's how Gene handles it, that's how Bryce handles it. Okay.
Nancy?
You know, I'm the only one speaking up. People.
You're doing a good job.
All Delaware tribe fees will be returned to the program based on the following percentages. I didn't get a page with the percentages.
Look on the back. Look on the back.
It's on the back, Nancy.
Well, y'all never put nothing on the back.
Saving paper.
Okay. What's THPO salaries? What is it?
It's Bryce and.
Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, that's this man right here next to me.
It would include myself and then the part-time archaeologist in Pennsylvania, and then I have a student assistant that works 10 hours a week.
Is that the only one that you're paying?
Yes.
Bryce, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
I think this resolution has got 20% only set aside. I also think that would cover what we're paying out to the THPO personnel right now. But what if, as you mentioned, we wanted to hire an archaeologist to go out and work with government agencies and actually do more archaeological work?
A consulting firm? You mean an archaeological consulting firm?
Yeah, I don't think that 20% would necessarily cover that, would it?
No, I don't think so, because that consulting firm would be a private business, not a tribal. It would be a for-profit entity, and I mean, my recommendation is not to have that within the Historic Preservation Office. I would see that as a separate standalone business if we were ever to go in that direction.
Do you think it'd be profitable?
Oh, I do, yeah. We have the edge. There's no tribal archaeological firm, and so our advantage would be that we would be able to, all the tribes charge fees, but if you use our archaeologists, we would waive our fee, and that, of course, to a business person, that saves a considerable amount of cost, and that's the advantage that we'd be able to provide.
Chet, was that your question? I thought your question was you were talking if he had to hire another archaeologist to do what you're doing right now, not talking about starting another company. Did I get you wrong, or did I?
Well, no, I think Bryce himself had mentioned that possibly we could use some part of these funds to expand into a full-blown archaeological business.
Yeah, I mean, these are not restricted funds. I mean, we can do what we want with them. So we could even set a percentage aside to use as startup money. But eventually, you wouldn't want to keep a contract firm unless it was profitable. You wouldn't want it, I mean, there's no advantage to having a contractor unless you're profitable, obviously.
We would be that firm. I mean, the tribe would have a business within the tribe that would be that contracting firm or that archaeological.
Right, right, exactly. So that we would, right now what our role is that there are all of the cell tower companies, Sprint, Verizon, and so forth, they're required to get consultation, to do consultation with each tribe that has an interest in a particular area. And so Sprint and Verizon don't have the capability to do this, and there's independent contract firms that they hire to contact the tribes and then go out and do the archaeological survey.
And you're saying we would be that firm?
We could do the same type of, we could hire archaeologists, you know, in Pennsylvania and in wherever, in all the states that we have an interest, and we would be the tribe that they would hire to contact all the other tribes and then go out and do the actual archaeology.
Okay, but my reading of this is that it's gonna restrict 100% of it.
Yeah.
And that worries me right now.
I want to say my concern,
100% actually, because there's 10% indirect costs.
Well,
my concern with putting that restriction on this revenue, it's really the only source of revenue that we have as a tribe right now. And until we secure that 8A, this restricts that, any fundage that we have coming in. And I just think that's too risky for us as a tribe right now.
I do too.
Joe Brooks.
Yes, as former chief of this tribe, I agree with Bryce. Bryce's grant does have restrictions on it by the federal government, but consultation money with different cell phone companies does not have any federal regulations as to how you can spend it. I would, you know, I agree with some of the stuff that Western Delaware has done, putting percentages on there, but that's up to this tribal council. And it's not regulated by the federal government. It's non-regulated monies. You can spend it however you wish. But I would like to see this tribal council put some percentages on it because of the amount of money we're bringing in off consultations. So for that reason, I agree with Bryce. There's no restrictions on it, nor should we put any restrictions on it at this point without discussing it, possibly even at a general council with our tribal members, what they'd like to see done with it. But as far as putting it for 100% cultural preservation, I don't agree with that. Doesn't have to be done. Thank you.
I have a couple of things to add to that on the subject. Thank you, Joe, for stating that. This resolution actually was presented by a group of tribal members they had planned and intended to present this at the general council, which they were not able to since we did not have a quorum of 100 people present. So it's a moot point to present it at that time. However, now with the discussion of possibility of different usages of this funding, because yes, we are all very aware that there are no mandates on the usage of this money. There's no restrictions. And it is highly of high concern to a number of our members that it will not be safeguarded, that it will be used in various economic development aspects or a number of, however this council deems fit, without protecting these funds. And yes, there is a high number of, a high amount of money coming in through this fund. So this was actually presented by a group of tribal members that are concerned about this. And in their opinion, they are asking for percentages or some type of restriction to be put on this money. They're asking that of this council. Now this council can look at the percentages of these restrictions and, you know, discuss that and possibly change them. These numbers are not set in stone. It's simply brought as a suggestion to begin the discussion.
It's in a resolution, so
It is in a resolution. But
It's in a
can
resolution,
not be changed
and
at this table?
if
May I please do something?
it'd have, the resolution would have to be rescinded by a 2/3 vote to change it, according to our Constitution.
We've brought resolutions to this table in the past year and made revisions at this table at the time that these resolutions were presented to us, so I don't see why this would be any different.
Charles?
Yes, I understand that this is discretionary money right now, and my main concern is, what is it going to impact if we allocate that to a specific direction like this? Is it going to impact other things that we really want to be accomplishing? That's my only concern. What Benita said, I think makes a lot of sense.
It's something that should be thought about very thoroughly.
Could we make some kind of a, thank you, could we make some kind of a, I'll go back to the drawing board with it, like 50%, we never would use over 50% of it for anything besides culture or historic preservation. Some kind of a
Negotiation.
right. I mean, if the funds drop down to, say we had 300,000, we'd never use more than 150,000 for anything besides culture. It would never let it. And I'm not saying we would allocate it and designate it total. I mean, I wouldn't even want to spend 50% of it on other things if we could avoid it. But I just thought if we put some kind of a governor on it, I don't know. Just another thought.
Okay, let me jump in here, please. First of all, I just want to say that every one of us ran on language and cultural preservation. And so I would like, and I know Levi has really hammered down on us to assure that we follow through with that. And when he devised these, you know, we actually made it less, but he's just like, no, come on. Really, what have we spent towards our language and culture? We don't have any fluent speakers alive today. Our language preservation director has never been paid out of any of our tribal funds. It's all been grant funds. Jim has done work for us since the 1960s, recording elders and doing all the things that, you know, all of this could have been paying for. At the very least, we owe him a salary. There are other things, like I know our IT comes out of TIPO. Why are we not putting that under TIPO? I mean, there are other ways. There are definite impacts, but I do believe we have thought about a number of them that we would like to address through some negotiations. But my main point is that if we don't start doing something for our language and culture, I mean, you've already got rid of me. I'm gone. I'm leaving. And I was the only shell shaker for a lot of our dances. And we're trying the last 5 years with our Lenape program to teach shell shaking. You know, Annette's out there and she's really awesome. I love watching her shell shake.
I'm going to go till I'm a senior elder.
I know, right? I mean, she's 7, she's a junior elder. We have to do something, and this is the way to do it. And if it's not a priority, then that'll just tell me exactly where everybody stands on this.
Well, I think it is a priority, but I think right now with the financial situation of the tribe, we have to look very closely at any funds that come in. And yeah, if we were a casino tribe or something like that, there'd be no doubt this would all go for that, but we're not. And so I think we have to look at it a little differently. Joe Brooks has his hand up.
Joe Brooks.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. While I agree with Dickie and Michelle, I also would like to see some percentages put on some of this money. but you've got a motion and you've got a second on the resolution. You've got to call for the question as the resolution was written. You can't sit there and amend it tonight. You've got to call for the question. So I'm calling point of order. Now.
Will a council member call the question?
Call for question.
All in favor of passage of the resolution, please say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Let the record show that there's 2 yes, opposed, same signals.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Vote is,
Is that 5 no?
Yes.
that's 5 no to passage of the resolution.
Here comes our new best friend. It's the Cookie Monster. You get a raise. That's right.
Do you have a
Start
food
there,
handler's permit?
take one down and
Yeah.
pass it around.
Do you have a food handler's permit?
Anybody need a warm-up?
Do you mind if I just, now that the vote's happening, do you mind if I just add, do you mind if I approach the council?
Thank you. Go ahead, Buzz.
I would just like to say, as a director, that I would also support having some percentages and having a plan, and whether that means that we set aside, instead of it's 10% indirect cost, we set aside 30% indirect cost. That gives the tribe a little bit of security there. And then
I agree. I think, I would like to see this come back. We'll find out about the 8A, which should be within the next 6 weeks. And then have those percentages put on there. I would really like to see it come back to the table.
maybe even have some type of town hall type of meeting, so we can
Yep.
get feedback. on
Absolutely.
What's most
I
important.
think that would be good.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could you read the title?
Yes, I would.
I'm sorry, Leslie. I see. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add from the banking side of things, I think the percentages are a good idea, and I hope that they do come back to the table, simply because if there is a surplus in one of those categories where something is, or a deficit, then you can reallocate those budgets maybe after your year, if need be. And then others can't use from another fund, for something else. You've got to specify.
We don't take it out of one line item to the other. We keep it in our line items, is what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
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 The resolution 2015-67, a resolution of the Tribal Council on the Delaware Tribe of Indians to establish an unbiased and objective editorial board for the Delaware Indian News and other electronic social media under the Secretary. It says, let's see, I don't know where I should start. Maybe the second one, let's see. Maybe the third, whereas the Constitution states the Secretary shall have charge of all tribal correspondence, and whereas the Delaware Tribal Indian News, DIN, and all other social electronic media considered correspondence, and whereas to obtain as much confidentiality, objectivity, and professionalism as possible, an editorial board comprised of Delaware members who are qualified in public relations and/or journalism or equivalent. Now therefore be it resolved, the Delaware Tribal Council of the Delaware Tribe of Indians does hereby adopt this resolution to establish an editorial board.
the problem I have with this is we have already passed a resolution on the social media. So I absolutely would like to have an editorial board for the Den, but I think we've already addressed the social media part. So that's my objection to this.
I would argue, even if it is a net, regardless of who the position is, that it should be under the secretary.
Do I have further discussion? Titus?
The editorial board concept is very sound and much needed, in fact, among many tribes. Some of your major tribes that have newspapers that are circulated nationally, they have a very strong journalistic group that works for them. I was associated with the Native American Journal Association back in 1981, 82, 83, 84. I worked with the Native American Times in Oklahoma, here in Tulsa, about a year with Jim Gray, his wife Liz. But I see across the nation, editorial boards for their newspaper and journalism is very, very important. The fact is, there's so many tribes coming into money today, and the politics is so strong, it's going to be very difficult to be unbiased, as stated in the resolution. But it's a good goal to work forward towards. However, you have to find Native people, tribal people, to serve on that board who have journalistic background. Anybody that's got a college education knows how to write. Anybody that's ever been to a college knows how to talk and speak, to make decisions. When you do this search, I would like to be involved. I would like to be part of that board. I'm putting my hat in the ring right now, since I do have journalism background and a degree. I don't know, that might count against me, but that's what I want to do. So thank you.
We already have Leslie Jerdans and
Tara Madden.
Tara Madden on that committee, so.
We haven't
We haven't-
officially established this editorial board as the.
Oh, we have not officially established it,
Issue. There's been this back and forth debate as to what duties are going to fall under this editorial board, and now with the previous resolutions being passed by the majority of this council in the past couple of weeks, that leaves only the DIN that would be the responsibility that would fall under this editorial board.
The social media wouldn't fall under that.
No, we passed that resolution 2 weeks